Some 40 cities around the country had curfews last night, Mr. Mayor. I think you were one of them. We'll talk about the long-term policy implications in a moment, but short-term, did the curfew last night appear to be constructive in any way?
You know, I do think our curfew was constructive, and it's good to be with you today. We still had incidents after 8 o'clock when our curfew set in, but I think we had far fewer than you saw in a number of American cities. Indeed, we had far fewer incidents than we did on the Saturday night previous. We wanted to make sure there was a forum along the way for people to share their pain and their emotion, and we did that. What I don't think we needed in Kansas City or any American city are people that are breaking windows at a cupcake shop, or people that are actually harming both the police or innocent bystanders or journalists. And so I believe our curfew helped reduce those crowd sizes and did have a positive effect.
Are you echoing some of the comments we got out of Minnesota and Minneapolis over the weekend, that those that are causing the most destruction are not in line with the intent of the protests themselves?
You know, I do think that this is a moment that should be centered upon the experience, the in some way uniquely African-American experience in our country of what it is like to be afraid of police. What is it like to go out each day and know that you may be at threat, not just from perhaps some person in the community, but perhaps from people who are paid by the public to protect you and your family. So I think that, yes, the protests did kind of get far afield from that. I think when you're looking at some of the movements that tried to corrupt what I thought was a pure message, when you look at the folks that were some of the loudest advocates about, causing civil disobedience and insurrection, those weren't folks from the majority Black inner city of Kansas City. Those weren't folks from a lot of the places that I've known my entire life. Those weren't the voices of my cousins who've been in and out of trouble or who are doing successfully, but are still limited by race. And so, yeah, I found that frustrating. I continue to find it frustrating, and I hope it doesn't distort what is an important movement and moment for this country to improve Black lives, to save Black lives.
Mayor Lucas, I've seen a number of people and interacted with a number of people in recent days who feel that the violence, that the breaking of windows is a boiling over of frustrations and therefore either understandable or allowable under the circumstances because other things haven't worked to bring attention to this. Now, I don't happen to personally agree with that point of view, and it sounds like you don't either. So I wonder what you say to that perspective and what community groups you've been in touch with in Kansas City that have a different perspective on that as well.
So I think I would answer that point by thinking back to my own childhood. Right? In 1992, I'm watching the Los Angeles riots. And then what happens? Does the world change? Not really. Do we change our issues of injustices, particularly brutality as it relates to that imposed upon Black men? No. In fact, in some ways, I think more astonishing is that we're 28 years out from the Rodney King beating, and we're seeing actually such excessive force that it's lethal now, right? It seems like, in a way, right, things have only gotten worse. So I don't know if riots alone were the answer. I think mass protest, I think civil unrest can be something that we can share with people. But I think what we need to do is actually get beyond just a conversation about this city had a curfew, this city didn't. They destroyed this many shops, they didn't. They burned this many shops, they didn't. And instead move on to the very things that I know we're talking about today, which relate to how do we support Black businesses? How do we support things that will allow people to live equally in our country economically, public safety-wise, health-wise, when we think about COVID, right? That's the sort of thing that we need to do. But no, I mean, I get being annoyed and bothered. Trust me, that's why I'm in public service. I was annoyed and bothered. We need to do more.